The golden morning sun shimmers gently along the Los Angeles coastline. But peace is nowhere to be found in the hearts of the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer families. As The Bold and the Beautiful unfolds its next gripping chapter on Thursday, July 3rd, the drama rises to a fever pitch, laced with danger, heartbreak, and the faint glimmer of hope that clings desperately to a dying dream. Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, sits alone in the Forrester guest house, a man caught in the brutal grip of uncertainty. His phone buzzes. Dr. Grace Buckingham, Cassandra Creech, is on the line. When he answers, her voice trembles with sorrow. The news she brings is not good. She has the latest updates from the hospital, and sadly, they carry no sign of improvement for Liam's mysterious condition. His face pales, the shadows under his eyes deepen. The camera lingers on his trembling hand as he clutches the phone tighter, as if doing so might hold his life together just a moment longer. "You're saying there's still no change?" Liam whispers. Grace pauses. "I'm afraid not, Liam. The doctors are doing everything they can, but the outlook, it's complicated." This isn't the first time Liam has received bad news, but today it hits harder. Because for all his stoic bravery, there's a quiet desperation in his voice that can't be ignored. As he sinks into the couch, his thoughts spiral, to Beth, to Kelly, to Hope. And then Hope Logan, Annika Noel, walks in. She doesn't knock, she doesn't need to. Her presence is a gentle force of nature, warm, luminous, and filled with unshakable love. She sees the pain in Liam's eyes before he says a word. "Grace called," he says quietly. Hope nods. "I figured." She moves toward him, crouching down to meet his eyes. "Liam, I know it's hard to hold on right now, but miracles do happen. Look at Eric. He came back to us when no one believed he could." There's a pause, a fragile silence that hangs between them. "I believe in one more miracle," she whispers. Hope takes Liam's hand and lays it against her heart, and for the briefest moment, a flicker of warmth returns to his eyes. He wants to believe, but somewhere else, in a house not far away, a storm is gathering. And it's heading straight for Steffi. As the waves crash gently against the Malibu cliffs, the serenity of the ocean is shattered by the turbulence in the hearts of those who dwell nearby. Inside the beach house, the air is thick with anticipation. Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, has just parked her car, her heels clicking softly on the wooden porch as she approaches the door. A strange message had summoned her here, allegedly from Dylan, a trusted friend and coworker. Something in his voice had felt off, distant, almost robotic. But Steffi, ever the protector, didn't hesitate. She came, unaware she was walking into a trap. Meanwhile, Hope Logan remains with Liam, gently encouraging him, nurturing his flickering will to fight. She speaks of Eric Forrester's miraculous recovery, how the impossible became real when love refused to let go. Her words don't just comfort Liam. They awaken something within him, the desire to truly live for those who still believe in him. "I'm not done yet," Liam finally says. "Not with Beth, not with you, not with Steffi." Hope smiles, but something in her eyes suggests she feels the time is running out faster than anyone can stop it. Back at the beach house, Steffi pushes open the door and steps into silence. The curtains flutter with the breeze, sunlight slicing through the room in golden ribbons, but there's no sign of Dylan. "Dylan?" she calls out, cautious but composed. She steps deeper into the living room, where the soft sound of the waves fades into an unsettling stillness. Then she sees it. A pair of shoes, not far from the couch. She moves closer and gasps. Dylan is tied up, gagged, his eyes wide with fear. He tries to shout a warning, but it's too late. From the hallway, Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, emerges. No longer the sweet, misunderstood woman Steffi once knew, Luna's face is twisted by rage. Her voice, once soft, now carries an edge of violence. "I told you to stay out of my way, Steffi," Luna spits. Steffi freezes. Her eyes flicker toward Dylan, then back to Luna, whose hand is now visibly gripping a gun. The light from the window catches the steel of the barrel, and everything slows down. Steffi's heartbeat thuds in her ears like a drum. "You're sick," Steffi says carefully, her voice low. "Put the gun down, we can talk." But Luna shakes her head, tears brimming in her eyes as her voice trembles. "Talking doesn't change what you did, what you all did to me." "What are you talking about?" Steffi asks, her tone shifting from alarm to desperation. "No one's trying to hurt you." Luna lets out a bitter laugh. "No, you stole everything, respect, family, future. I warned you. Now I'm taking control." Outside, seagulls cry, oblivious to the drama unfolding behind the walls. Inside, time stands still. Steffi takes a slow step forward. Luna, think about what you're doing. This isn't you. But Luna raises the gun, her hands trembling now, not just from rage, but fear. A fear that no one truly sees her. A fear that the only way to be heard is through fire. And from the edge of the city, another figure has sensed the storm brewing. Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, always one step ahead, or one step too late, is already behind the wheel, racing toward the cliffs. She had overheard something at the shooting range. A comment from Remy Price, Christian Weissman. A cryptic warning, a fragment of truth. She's not coming back, Remy had muttered. And someone's going to pay. Sheila had dismissed it as meaningless paranoia until now. Now she knows, Luna is on the edge of something unthinkable, and Steffi Forrester is running out of time. Inside the beach house, the air is heavy with dread. Steffi's gaze locks onto the barrel of the gun in Luna's shaking hand. Every instinct in her body screams for her to stay still, to speak gently, to de-escalate. But deep inside, another voice whispers, "This isn't just a cry for help. This is personal." "Luna, please," Steffi murmurs, stepping slightly sideways, edging herself between Luna and Dylan. "You don't want this. You're not like—" "Don't say it," Luna snaps, her voice cutting through the room like glass. "Don't say I'm not like Sheila." For a moment, Steffi blinks, stunned. Luna sees the surprise and nods bitterly. "That's right. You all think I'm turning into her, don't you? The crazy, broken girl who'll snap like Sheila Sharp did. That's why you've never trusted me." "You're not her," Steffi insists, her voice trembling now. "You never were. But you were always waiting for the day I'd prove you wrong." The words hang in the air like smoke. Steffi doesn't deny it. She can't. In truth, she had been wary of Luna ever since the woman had arrived in Los Angeles, with secrets hidden behind her doe-like eyes and a past too vague to believe. Luna's hand tightens around the grip of the gun. She begins to pace, as though the rage inside her is too strong to contain. "I love this family," she says, staring at a photo of the Forresters on the mantel. "I wanted to belong, but I was just a project to you, a ticking time bomb you all kept at arm's length." "Luna, listen to me," Steffi says, stepping forward again. "You do belong. Whatever happened in the past, we can fix it. You're not alone in this." But Luna's eyes glint with something deeper now, a mixture of grief and defiance. "You talk about family. But what did you do when I needed help?" She growls. "You let everyone turn against me. Even RJ, even Zendi. And when my mother tried to warn you all, you shut her out too." Steffi exhales slowly, trying to keep her voice calm. "You're angry, I understand, but this isn't the way. You can still choose something different." "I did choose differently," Luna interrupts, her voice rising. "I chose to survive. I chose to stop begging for a seat at your table." Then she raises the gun again. Steffi freezes. "Now I make the rules," Luna says softly. Outside, a gust of wind slams the door shut behind them, making Dylan jump against his restraints. The noise seems to snap Luna out of her trance for a second, and in that breathless pause, Steffi takes her chance. She steps forward fast. "Luna!" she shouts, reaching for the gun. Luna stumbles backward, startled, and her finger brushes the trigger. A shot fires. The deafening sound shatters the silence. A vase explodes against the wall behind Steffi, glass raining onto the floor like frozen tears. Steffi gasps, but she's unharmed, barely. Luna stares at the gun in her hand, horrified. Her body begins to tremble. "I didn't mean to, But before she can say another word, a door bursts open behind her. Sheila Sharp storms in, her eyes blazing. "Luna, drop the gun!" Luna spins in disbelief. You? You followed me?" Sheila steps forward slowly, carefully. "I didn't come to hurt you. I came to stop you from doing something you'll never forgive yourself for." "You're not my mother," Luna hisses, voice cracking. "No, but I know what it's like to lose everything and lash out at the wrong people," Sheila says quietly. "Please, let this go." For a long, agonizing moment, nothing moves. Steffi stares at Luna, who stares at Sheila, and Dylan groans beneath the gag. Then with a broken cry, Luna drops the gun. It hits the floor with a dull thud. She sinks to her knees, sobbing. Sheila rushes forward and kicks the weapon away, then unties Dylan. Steffi collapses into the nearest chair, her hands shaking violently. It's over. Or at least this part is. Because what remains now is the wreckage and the reckoning. And somewhere deep in her gut, Steffi knows Luna's story is far from finished. The sound of the gunshot still echoes faintly across the cliffs, like a ghost refusing to leave. The sea continues its steady rhythm, crashing against the rocks as if nothing has changed. But everything has changed, for Steffi, for Luna, and for everyone who loves them. Inside the beach house, the scene is one of fragile silence. Luna kneels on the floor, her body trembling, face buried in her hands. The gun lies far from reach now, kicked beneath a side table by Sheila, who stands guard, her eyes flicking between Luna and the stunned Steffi. Dylan, now freed, staggers to his feet, rushing to Steffi's side. She waves him off gently. "I'm okay," she breathes, though her voice is barely above a whisper. Her hand is still shaking. "Is anyone hurt?" Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, appears suddenly in the doorway, having followed Sheila's trail up the winding cliff road. She gasps at the sight. Luna on the floor, the shattered glass, Steffi pale and exhausted. "I called the police," Taylor says. "They're on their way." "No," Luna gasps, her head snapping up. "Please, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I just wanted them to understand." Sheila steps between Luna and the others. "She didn't fire to kill. It was a warning. She snapped, but she's not a monster." Taylor narrows her eyes. "You're defending her? After she tied up Dylan and pointed a gun at Steffi?" "I'm not defending her," Sheila replies. "I'm trying to stop this from turning into something we can't undo." And suddenly it's clear, Sheila, for all her checkered past and crimes, has become the unlikely voice of reason in this moment. She sees her own past mistakes reflected in Luna's actions, and for once she wants to stop the cycle before it consumes someone else. Steffi stands slowly, her gaze locks with Luna's, two women who have walked very different paths, now bound by one traumatic moment. "You need help," Steffi says calmly, "not punishment." Luna shakes her head, tears streaking her cheeks. I need someone to believe in me." Sheila moves closer, placing a hand on Luna's shoulder. "Then let this be the first step." Meanwhile, across town, at the Logan cabin, Liam and Hope are unaware of the chaos unfolding on the cliffs. They sit on the back porch, the setting sun casting a warm glow across the valley. Beth plays with a doll in the grass nearby. The moment is peaceful, almost dreamlike. Hope watches Liam closely. He looks stronger somehow, still pale, still tired, but his eyes hold a spark that had been missing for weeks. "I was thinking," he says softly, "maybe we could take a trip. You, me, the girls, just get away from it all." Hope smiles. "I'd love that." They hold hands, and for the first time in what feels like forever, silence feels comforting, not heavy. Then Liam's phone buzzes. It's Taylor. As he listens to her breathless account of what happened, Luna's gun, Steffi's narrow escape, his face drains of color. "She's okay?" he asks, voice urgent. Taylor confirms, "Physically, yes, but it was close." Hope clutches Liam's arm, hearing enough to understand the gravity. "Luna?" Liam asks next. "She's safe," Taylor replies. "Broken, but safe." Later that night, back at the beach house, flashing red and blue lights flood the living room. Paramedics check on Dylan. Officers speak with Steffi, who calmly relays the details. Luna, wrapped in a blanket, sits quietly on the edge of the deck, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Sheila watches her from a distance, arms folded. Taylor approaches, hesitant. "Sheila," she begins. "I didn't do it for you," Sheila says without turning. "I did it because I know what it's like to ruin everything and have no one left." Taylor nods. "Then maybe it's not too late to start again, for either of you." Inside, Steffi gazes at the broken photo frame that fell during the struggle. A picture of her and Liam holding baby Kelly. So much has been broken. But tonight, something fragile has also been saved. Epilogue, the days ahead. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again over Los Angeles. Luna may face consequences, but perhaps also compassion. Steffi will heal, physically and emotionally, and Liam, who faced despair only hours ago, now knows the true weight of time and the gift of life. In the world of the bold and the beautiful, nothing stays the same for long. But one truth endures: love, when held onto, can guide even the most broken souls back to the light. The night after the chaos at the beach house is heavy with an unsettling quiet. The stars above Malibu twinkle indifferently as emergency vehicles roll away, their sirens silenced but their flashing lights still haunting the windows. Steffi Forrester sits alone on the back deck, a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. The wind has picked up, bringing with it the salt of the ocean and the sting of memory. Her fingers trace the rim of a teacup, untouched. Her mind plays back every second of Luna's breakdown, the pleading eyes, the trembling hands, the echo of the gunshot. For years, Steffi has faced adversaries, scandals, betrayals, but this had been different. This time, the danger had come from someone broken, not evil. A woman not unlike Steffi herself at her lowest. Inside, Taylor Hayes finishes her conversation with Sheila, who finally prepares to leave. "Thank you," Taylor says softly, surprising herself. Sheila turns, equally surprised. "Don't thank me, just try not to hate her, not completely." As Sheila steps out into the night, there's something fragile in her posture, a flicker of humanity barely holding on. For once, she hadn't manipulated a situation. She had tried to stop a tragedy. Elsewhere at the Logan cabin, Hope walks quietly into Beth's room and pulls the blanket over her daughter's sleeping body. Liam stands behind her, silent, thoughtful. His mind is still spinning from Taylor's call, from the sheer terror of imagining Steffi in danger and not being there. "I should have been there," Liam says suddenly. Hope turns, gently cupping his face in her hands. "You've been fighting your own war. You don't have to carry everything." "I still love her, Hope," Liam says without hesitation, his voice low. Hope nods, not with jealousy, but understanding. "I know. There's no anger, no heartbreak, just truth. Because the triangle that has defined so much of their lives, Liam, Steffi, Hope, is no longer about rivalry. It's about survival, loyalty, healing. Love doesn't always mean choosing one," Hope whispers. "Sometimes it just means being there when they need you." Liam pulls her into a hug. They don't speak for a long time. At the hospital, Luna receives a visitor. Under light sedation and placed in psychiatric care for observation, Luna Nozawa rests in a white room devoid of sound. No windows, no distractions, just the echo of her own thoughts. Then a knock. She turns slowly. It's Zende Forrester Dominguez. She looks away, ashamed. "You shouldn't have come," she says. Zenda walks in, taking the chair beside her bed. "I almost didn't, but I couldn't ignore what happened. Not after everything." "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," Luna whispers. "I just lost myself." "I know," he replies, "and that's what scares me, because losing yourself like that, it means you've been carrying too much for too long." Tears stream down Luna's face. "I was screaming inside, but no one heard me." Zenda gently reaches for her hand. "I hear you now." Morning light over Malibu. Back at the Forrester mansion, Ridge Forrester has returned early from a business trip. Awakened by calls from both Taylor and Steffi, he storms into the living room demanding answers. Where is she? Where's Luna? And why the hell did Sheila Sharp get involved? Steffi, now composed and standing near the fireplace, faces her father head on. Because she was the only one who knew what was happening, and she stopped it. Ridge is stunned. "You're defending Sheila?" "No," Steffi says, "but sometimes even the worst people do the right thing. Once." Ridge exhales, rubbing his temples. "So what now?" Steffi looks toward the window, where the sun has just begun to rise. "Now we figure out what led Luna to that point, and we make sure no one else falls through the cracks." A message of grace. Later that day, Dr. Grace Buckingham addresses the Forrester family during a private meeting. She outlines Luna's psychological condition: chronic emotional neglect, identity trauma, untreated anxiety. "She wasn't trying to kill," Grace explains. "She was trying to be seen." Steffi nods. She understands now. The girl who threatened her life had once simply wanted a place to belong. A new chapter begins. As the dust settles, it's clear that the bold and the beautiful has turned a powerful page. The week began with despair and desperation. It ends with a complex truth. Healing is messy, redemption is rare, but not impossible. Luna's fate still hangs in the balance. Liam's illness remains a shadow, and the future of the Logan Forrester Spencer families has never been more uncertain or more human. The week closes on a fragile thread. The characters of the bold and the beautiful have danced with danger, faced the edge of madness, and now find themselves staring down the aftermath, not just of what happened, but of what might still happen. Because in this world, one act of redemption doesn't erase a past. One miracle doesn't cancel fate. At the psychiatric care wing, Luna Nozawa has begun to speak again, but not yet smile. Zende visits her every day, sometimes in silence, sometimes with soft laughter. He brings her sketchbooks, memories, and a box of letters from RJ, who's currently away but deeply shaken by the news. One note from RJ reads, "You're not a monster. You're someone who's been hurting in silence. That ends now. I'm here. We all are." Luna clutches the note to her chest, and for the first time since the incident, she sleeps through the night. At the Forrester estate, reflection replaces chaos. Steffi, now fully recovered physically, hosts a private dinner, Not an extravagant affair, but something intimate, symbolic. At the table sit Hope, Liam, Taylor, and to everyone's surprise, Sheila. The tension is undeniable, but Steffi raises her glass with conviction. We've all made mistakes, she says. We've all been broken in ways we didn't show, but if we want our families to survive, maybe it's time we start by listening. Hope takes her hand under the table. It's not forgiveness, but it's a start. Even Liam, weakened by his recent health struggles, nods. Time's too short to live in fear. Sheila remains silent through most of the dinner, uncharacteristically so. But as the night ends, she walks past the family portrait wall and whispers to no one in particular, maybe it's not too late, even for me. Elsewhere, shadows still stir, but not all is calm. At a luxury suite in Beverly Hills, a mysterious figure in a dark trench coat watches the news report about Luna's breakdown. He smiles coldly. On his desk, photos of Remy Price, Sheila, Zendi, and even Eric Forrester. The man picks up his phone. Phase 2 begins next week, he says. Make sure no one sees it coming. The camera pans to a wall, covered in connections, secrets, and threats. At the center is a single word written in red marker. Reckoning. Coming up on The Bold and the Beautiful. Will Luna recover or disappear again into silence? Will Steffi's decision to show compassion come back to haunt her? Is Sheila truly changing or playing the longest game of all? What secret is Remy Price hiding from his time at the shooting range? And what illness still quietly threatens Liam's future and his children's? Final reflections. This week's arc wasn't just about confrontation. It was about truth, vulnerability, and the scars that rarely show. Where most soap operas might end a story in gunfire, The Bold and the Beautiful chose to end with a choice, a decision not to pull the trigger, a chance to listen, to heal, to change. And that is what makes this show endlessly captivating. Thank you for reading and for feeling. We hope you enjoyed this detailed preview of The Bold and the Beautiful's July 3rd episode and the emotional journey it brought. If you felt something, whether fear, anger, or empathy, then the story did its job. Follow us for exclusive spoilers, behind-the-scenes insights, and future episode breakdowns. Until next time, stay bold, stay compassionate. Ciao e arrivederci.